This is the Wellness Debate with your host Woz. Are you confused by health and wellness and don't know what you should be doing to live a long, healthy life? Well, we're here to sort through the truth, myths, and choices to make your journey a little smoother. We'll give you real guidance on your well-being, share both sides of the story, and leave the decision in your hands. So sit back, get comfortable, and let's explore the world of wellness together.
Hi, and thanks for joining us on today's episode of the Wellness Debate. Little change of pace today. I have a lady who I met in Thailand at a workshop. Her name is Corbin. Anne's a transformational coach, speaker, and founder of Quantum Growth. The podcast, which airs weekly on all major platforms, is Quantum Growth and Connection. Anne's passion is working with high achievers who feel stuck, burnt out, or that there must be more to life than hustle and paying the bills. I think we all feel like that at some point. Anne shows people how to rediscover their spark and create lives that feel as good on the inside as they look on the outside. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation. How are you today, Anne?
I'm very well indeed. Thanks, Warren. It's lovely to see you. And thank you very much for inviting me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It seems like an interesting conversation that I'm looking forward to, and I'm sure my listeners will get something out of it as well.
I hope
Um,
so.
so we'll dive straight in. The name of the business, like Quantum Growth, and then the podcast, Quantum Growth and Connection. Where did you get that from, or what does it mean?
Okay, well, my passion really is personal development, which is so ubiquitous now. There are hundreds of people offering that as a
Yeah,
service. And I found that my own interest is in the spiritual side and the psychology behind it. And the more
okay.
I studied that angle, the more I realized that my original title for the podcast, which was The Mind Body Spirit Connection, although it covered exactly what I did, it suggested New Age. And New Age is not my thing. I'm not religious. I mean, I've got nothing, I believe in a higher power and so forth, but I would say I was more engaged in spirituality than, well, definitely not in religion. That's something that belongs to the past.
Yeah,
So quantum is very much a buzzword these days, and people use it in connection with spirituality. However, the real history of quantum is in physics. It's a branch of
yeah.
physics called quantum mechanics, which is the study of the tiniest particles. And yet we have this expression in the language, which is quantum leap. And
Yeah,
intuitively, we all imagine a huge leap.
yeah.
So there's a disconnect there. And I don't like disconnects. It's like when I hear three-letter acronyms, I want to know what they stand for. And I wanted to know what connected quantum leaps with tiny little particles. And the
Okay.
conclusion that I came to, because, look up quantum in an old-fashioned printed dictionary, and all you will see is amount. Look it up online. Well, I haven't done it recently, but when I first started looking online wasn't very helpful either. So let's go
Yeah,
back to quantum mechanics. I think quantum comes from the fact that a phenomenal amount of energy is required for an electron spinning
yeah.
around the nucleus to move from the shell that it's in to a different shell. And there
Okay.
again, that model of atoms and a nucleus in the center and electrons spinning around the outside, that is passé. That was only ever a hypothetical diagram, and it's been counter invented now. They've got something else to recognize the structure of an atom.
Okay.
But nevertheless,
Yeah,
originally, when quantum mechanics was born, which was around 100 years ago, I think quantum described either this vast amount of energy or the fact that the whole subject is almost beyond understanding. In fact, I can't remember if it was Niels Bohr or Max Planck, one of those two original fathers. They said, if quantum mechanics hasn't profoundly shocked you, then you haven't understood it yet. So, because my topic is self-mastery, which is kind of next level
Yeah,
personal growth, I thought quantum growth just covers all bases because it can mean fast, it can mean powerful, it can mean spiritual, it can mean energetic. That's me. That just covers me. So the business
yeah,
itself is quantum growth, self-mastery, and quantum growth and connection naturally fits the podcast.
yeah. Cool. Well, I didn't do physics at school, so I had heard of quantum and didn't really have much idea about what it is, but I am now very much wiser on quantum and how it fits in with your work. And the I had vision, and maybe it's incorrect, but when you talked about the electrons spinning around the nucleus, I was also picturing, and it could be completely off track, but for me, I thought, oh, well, that's the person is the nucleus, and there's all this stuff, the electrons and maybe other things that are spinning around them. And that is potentially, as I said, how I took it, that what you do when you coach people is that you deal with the nucleus or the person, and we try and prevent all of these things spinning around them, and I don't know, slow that down or bring back into focus. That was just my take as you were talking and I was listening, and I'm thinking, oh, look, nucleus, there's a person. Because obviously with my topic, the wellness debate, which is what you're on, it's to do with wellness and the person. And I just kind of related it to what's of interest to me. So
I think
um
that's fascinating. I just love the fact that my talking gave you that visual, which is so appropriate. Oh, that's brilliant. No one has ever said
yeah,
that to me before. Thank you very much.
as I say, whether it's right or wrong, that was just my perspective of what I was
Mhm.
taking as you were talking. And yeah, that's just being visual person. That's just how I saw it. So it made
Mhm.
sense. May not be appropriate, but it made sense to me.
It's very
Um,
appropriate.
so some of the things you talk about with the podcast, and like kind of a tagline or words that get used quite often, is motivation, mastery, and momentum. Now you mentioned mastery there in your little chat. Um, you say motivation's overrated. I mean, what do you mean by that, or what matters more?
Oh, yes. It's one of those words like mindset, which I could have had there in my three-word strapline, but I decided
Yeah,
against because everybody's doing it. And also, coaches tend to talk about this will give you motivation. How can we increase your motivation? What motivates you, etc. The trouble with motivation is it's the spark that lights the fire. And once that spark time is over and done with,
yeah,
motivation has had its day. Motivation doesn't keep on going. It's not what gets you out of bed day after day after day to go to the gym. You need something else.
yeah,
That's where momentum comes in because
yeah,
there's something called the momentum cycle. It's not really a cycle, but that's what we refer to it. If you do something for 7 days, you're already establishing a habit. And if you don't do
yes,
it on the eighth day, you must pick it up again on the ninth, because the longer you don't pay attention to that new habit, the easier it is to just let it lie and not to pick
yeah,
it up again. So that's the key to replacing motivation with something more relevant as time goes on, because motivation is just the initial spark.
yeah. Uh, Momentum, I've heard a lot about in 21 days to make a habit. But isn't it? I find it interesting that it's so hard to kind of make a good habit, but it's so easy to make a bad habit. It's kind of like, yep, I know I've been doing this for many years now, but I need to change what I'm doing. And I need to do it for at least 21 days and then continue with the momentum to create a new habit. But I don't know about everybody else and the people you coach, but I sometimes find it difficult to go back to, or create a new habit, because I'm just so set in my ways with the other one. And just on that, my word for 2025 is consistency. because I know
Mm,
I don't maintain the momentum. I'm not consistent enough in
mhm.
doing what I should be doing. And I'm working on that this year to do things that I need to do more consistently. So is the momentum side of things something that you work on with people that you coach to get that momentum
Oh,
and then
very
to
much
become
so.
mastery?
Very much so. Um, just winding back a minute to habits.
Yeah.
Habits can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And when they're your best
Yes.
friend, they're good habits, clearly. And when they're your worst enemy, they are your bad habits. And it's breaking bad habits that tends to take the longest of any possible
Hmm.
cycle connected to habits.
Yeah.
I've heard it can take as much as 60 days to break a bad habit. I don't think that's true. I think they can be broken a lot quicker. But I do recall a relative of mine was a very heavy smoker, and he had been forced to spend 5 weeks in hospital. And he
Oh,
said
okay.
to me, "Oh, I can't wait to get out of this place and have a cigarette." No, you are so close to have broken that habit. You've been in this place for
Yeah.
35 days. You only need to keep going for another 10 or so, and that habit could be broken. If you come out
Yeah.
and start smoking again, you're going to be right back to square one. But
Yeah.
smoking is an addiction as well as a habit, or is it? Or is addiction something that we blame because it's like casting the blame somewhere else rather than taking responsibility?
Yeah. Not being a smoker, but I know in a lot of things, unless the person wants to do something, and that's smoking, that's in anything. Like for me as well, if I need to go and walk every day, unless I want to do that, there'll be some days when it's cloudy or rainy out, and I'll go, yeah, I don't need to walk today. Um, but the person needs to want to do it as well.
Definitely.
Um, I
Um,
find just again, mindset, throwing that word out there, you need to want to do it. You've got to have a why, and otherwise it won't
you've
work.
hit it. Yep, you've hit it. There has to be something bigger than you that
Yeah,
convinces you it's worth putting this uncomfortable new habit into practice. Because sometimes
yeah,
adopting a new habit isn't particularly uncomfortable. For example, if you decide that you're going to have protein for breakfast every morning, it's not that difficult to start a new habit, except perhaps you have to decide, well, what could I have perhaps apart from eggs or meat? What else is protein? Okay, work out what the choices are in advance,
yeah,
get it in the fridge, and then it's not so difficult to get that habit established. Whereas
yeah,
if you are lying in bed thinking, what am I going to have for breakfast this morning? I'm supposed to have protein. I don't really want protein. I'd much rather have cornflakes.
yeah,
You haven't set yourself up to win.
yeah. Bit of preparation goes a long way.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Um, so do you get a lot of people come to you that have just worn out or experienced burnout? And if they do, if you do coach those sorts of people, I mean, how do you encourage or get them to go from I've just got nothing left, I don't know where to go with the burnout, to then turn things around and get them back on track?
Okay, well, the people who come to see me are generally high achievers, and they've
Yep,
gone through the basic advice that you get in standard personal development. They've set their goals, they've achieved their goals, and on the surface, they look really successful. They've perhaps
yep.
got the fancy car and the nice house and the what is it, 2.4 kids and a dog and everything that you're supposed to have,
Yeah, that's right.
and they don't feel good. They realize
Yeah,
they're overwhelmed. Often in the case of the women, they're spinning too many plates because they're trying to do too much. And
mhm,
they perhaps haven't got the family organized to help them. There could be a lot of conflicts going on because they don't
yep,
have time for the relationships which need attention. You can't
yep,
just expect a relationship to keep itself
no,
healthy. That doesn't happen. So these folks are facing burnout and sometimes they don't even realize it. But
Okay.
if they do stop and think, they might have this thought, well, is this what it's all about? Is this why I got myself into debt? Why I spent all those years training? Why I climbed the greasy pole? It just doesn't feel that good. What's life all about? And sometimes they need help to kind of step back and take a breath and work out what's really important.
Yes.
Sometimes their work has overtaken their life and they know something's wrong. They might spend those precious years with the kids just snapping at them. And then they might feel guilty, as you do, because you don't snap at your kids because you want to. It's generally because you haven't got anything left to give once you get
Yeah.
home. So balance needs to be restored. Balance is critical. And work-life balance, again, it doesn't just happen. You have to
No.
put it into place. And within my ecosystem, we have this phrase, which is outer world follows inner world. And if your outer world is hectic, frenetic, manic, and all similar phrases,
Yeah.
it's because your inner world is not calm. It's disorganized. You've got all those dreadful negative thoughts going around the whole time. Ask yourself, how do you speak to yourself in your head? Because
Yep.
that little voice, it can be your champion or it can be your criticizer. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize that until I think I heard a keynote speech where somebody spoke about the little voice in your head. How nice are you to yourself when you speak to yourself? We're not nice generally. We
No.
make small mistakes and we will probably swear at ourselves internally. What's that
Yeah.
doing to your subconscious? Because your subconscious is actually very easily wounded.
There's a Bruce Lee quote that I love that goes along the lines of, yeah, how you speak to yourself. Your body doesn't know, or your mind doesn't know, or it believes it to be true. So if you do something wrong, or if you make a mistake with something and you go, oh, what an idiot, your brain thinks that's what you are because you're telling yourself. So it's not to use words like that. And that's kind of what you're talking about, that negative voice. It's,
Totally.
yeah, and I love that, that quote of his. So it's very much something that I'm aware of. You talked about calm before, about getting that inner calm back. Are there any quick tips that you may use in a coaching session if someone's listening thinking, "Oh, yeah, I don't feel like that. I haven't got that calm." Is there anything that they can try that's kind of quick and easy?
Well,
Quick
there's plenty of
wins?
things. Ideally, we want to head towards developing a meditation habit. It is the most brilliant way to start the day. And a lot of people think, I haven't got time for that. So let's take a breath. Literally, let's take a breath. Breathing is so underrated. It's
Yeah.
so important. It really, really is. Now, there is advice that has been around ever since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, which is if you want to calm yourself down, just take 3 deep breaths.
Mhm.
Okay, that's true. Something's missing from the advice, though. Take 3 deep breaths through your nose and then breathe out through your mouth or through your nose. It really doesn't matter. It's the in-breath
Okay.
that matters because the direction down your windpipe that the breath takes is dictated by whether or not the air comes in through your nose. If you breathe through your nose, the air goes right down to the lower reaches of your lungs. And there are 2 good
Okay.
things about that. Down there are more capillaries, so your blood gets oxygenated quicker, which is good for calming down.
Yeah.
And all the receptors, or there are multiple receptors from the parasympathetic nervous system, which will also calm you down. If you breathe through your mouth, the air only comes down about as far as nipple level. And
Yep.
that puts you automatically into fight or flight. And the majority of people who breathe in that way are probably in fight or flight the whole time, and they don't realize because they've never been told. So
Yep.
thinking back to how do you calm down quickly, take 3 deep breaths through your nose. That way you operate your diaphragm, and it
Yep.
naturally draws the air right down to where it should be. Do you know kids will breathe through their diaphragm automatically? It's a habit that we get
Okay.
into as we grow older and as life gives us more stress. We
Yeah.
it's panting essentially, even if you're not going, but you're not getting the breath all the way down. It's what you do when you are running away from a tiger. That's fight or
Yep.
flight.
Yep.
But the majority of people, if they haven't been told about how to breathe properly, they're probably in this fight or flight breath situation the whole time and not realizing it. So just
Yep.
changing your breathing is very, very good for you. And when you need to calm down quickly, like if your head's spinning, you're really, really stressed, you're about to go into a meeting or you're going to go on stage or have an interview, you name it, we've all got those situations to deal with. Stop and take 3 deep diaphragmatic breaths through your nose,
Okay.
and it
Yep.
will set you up, and then work towards
So
the
that,
meditation.
yeah, I guess when I was growing up, my mum would always count to 10 when I'd done something that irritated her. So I don't know if there was breathing involved there, but certainly giving that space while she counted to 10 gave me a chance, one, to run away, but two, gave her a chance to calm down. So, um,
Any emotion, anger is the one that we usually want to deal with, but
yeah,
any emotion will dissipate between 90 and 120 seconds if you just give it time. And that's a
yeah.
really useful thing to know.
Um, just another quick tip. You mentioned meditation there, and people say, I don't have time to do it in the morning. I don't have a problem with time when I want to do it. I just find my mind always thinks of other things. And I'm not saying I need to sit there in meditation and go, oh, I'm not supposed
Mm.
to think of anything. But even if I'm, using the om sound just to have
Mm.
this kind of, vibration going through me, but I'm always finding I'm thinking,
Mm.
oh, I haven't written that down, or I don't forget I got to call them. And I just have trouble quietening my mind. So is there a quick tip that may help me to try the meditation that may work?
Yes, there are easier forms of meditation. In fact,
Okay.
there are many different ways to meditate.
Yes.
Guided meditations are a great, great way to start because you occupy your mind by listening to whatever the
Mm,
speaker is saying. And then
yeah.
maybe
I'm a
you,
man though. We don't always listen.
many a true word, yes.
Yeah. They'll be saying, calm down, think of this. And I guess that's my other thing. If they tell me to think of something, unless I've actually seen it, I've always had trouble with the imagining. Imagine you're on a beach. I can do that because I've been to a beach. If it says, imagine you're, you know, in this space or there's something around you, and I'm thinking, what? I
I
I
hear
have
you.
I do have trouble with the imagining part, unless I've been there and seen that. That's just me, but
Mhm.
I do.
The thing is, there are so many people online who offer these guided meditations. One that I do, for example, is we call it the elevator, and it takes you down through the 7 chakras. And
Okay.
you just imagine, uh, American speak because I was taught it by an American trainer.
Yeah.
But you start at the sixth chakra level, which is third eye, and you imagine getting into an elevator lift and going down chakra by chakra, and the dialogue just tells you how you'd be feeling, how things would look, because the chakras have different colors.
Yeah.
And so it's a visualization, but you're told what to think. You don't need to engage your imagination. So they don't all
Okay.
tell you to engage your imagination. Many of them
Yeah.
tell you what to think or describe something like dolphins swimming and where they're going, and now they see some rocks, and now the waves are gently cradling them, etc., etc. They describe a scene, and all you have to do is listen. So it's a case of
Yeah.
finding a person whose style you like.
Yeah.
I mean, I could mention
Um,
certain men who have recorded meditations online that I don't personally like, but now is
yeah.
the time to say that. But it's horses for courses. You choose the thing that appeals to you.
Yeah. Well, if that chakra one is online or on audio or something, if you've got where I can find it, I'm happy to try it because I'm always open to different things, but I just struggle with even that. And I
Okay, I'm
think
not certain whether it's on YouTube at the
oh,
moment.
I can
It
Google it.
No, I will make sure that I put it up there, because when I recorded it, I used to have a Patreon group,
Community groups and stuff.
that kind of thing, yes, where I
Yeah.
produced information week on week, and I had a course up there live. I've
Yeah.
stopped that Patreon site. It's not live anymore, but all the information should be accessible. It's time I did something with it. So that's probably motivated me to
Yeah.
get
Well,
to get the
I
elevator
would.
shaft online.
Yeah, I'd certainly be interested. When you're talking about people who record meditations that aren't your style, my wife's always telling me that when I talk to her, that it helps calm her and put her to sleep. So maybe I should get on the other side and actually record some meditations because she's quite happy to go, oh, you were talking? And she said, well, your just voice is so calming. And it's like, great. So I'm boring. So,
No, 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 you're calming. You're calming. But that is a really
yes.
great idea. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, and I could add it to my wellness page. I could do a wellness motivation or help people to calm and relax. So, um, talked about people reaching their goals before and then or getting to a point and still thinking, what's the point? Um, why do people still feel stuck or unfulfilled when they kind of achieve what they've achieved? I mean, is it just human nature or is it some people?
It's some people. High
Just yeah,
achievers tend to be motivated by setting goals. And
yeah,
the issue that they face is that they're never satisfied. It could be
yeah.
that they're chasing the first million and then they get it, and then they're immediately off and running chasing the second million. I mean, I don't think that
Okay.
way. I'm more easily satisfied, I suppose. I'm not
Yeah,
actually motivated by money, but many of these high achievers are. And
yeah,
nothing is ever enough. Sometimes they are motivated by the purchase of, say, a really expensive car or a really expensive house, massive mortgage, that kind of thing. And then
yeah,
when they get there, they are not necessarily going to be happy, because I suppose it was a fancy car to begin with. They probably think, wow, great, I've made it. And then they've got nothing to work towards for a while. And
okay.
they begin to feel, okay, what do I do now? And they start looking for the next goal because it's the way they've been trained. I mean, when I was at school and college, I don't think we were told about goals. But I obviously had goals because I wanted to
Yeah,
pass the exams and get qualified and what have you. And I mean, I was almost a professional student at one point. It was always chasing the next thing, but I did come to
yeah,
a stop. I thought, okay, this is fine. No more studying. And I didn't do any for about 10 years, and it was great.
yeah,
But in fact, I was studying a bit because within the work that I was doing, the firm had a bit of internal training going on from time to time. I
okay,
loved it. But there were other people working in the firm who hated being sent on training days. So
okay,
I don't know why.
yeah,
I saw them as a
yeah,
day off. But
yeah. Horses for courses, I guess, with anything, isn't it? It's like when
yeah.
I was at school, the best days at school when there were sports days. You know,
Mm,
at my school, I was, average to better, But then when you go and compete against other schools, you get a rude awakening and think, oh, I'm not that good anyway when I compete with the others. But it got me a day out of school. And I
Yeah.
might only have one event or one race or one swimming or something. And it was just like, yeah, well, you got to go in the morning. You don't come back till the afternoon. You sit there and watch all the other stuff. And it's like, I'm there. You need a volunteer. I'm happy to go just to get me out of school. Didn't please my mum all too well, but hey, it was what I wanted to do. So as we bring this to a close, I'm sure people have already got your tips, which is appreciated. But if they want to know more, obviously there's the business and the podcast. Where can people find you, Anne? What's the easiest way?
Okay, well, I will give you a couple of links which you can put in your show notes, but
Sure.
verbally, the best way to find me is annecorbininfo.com/card. That's an online business card, which will have my socials and my email, and schedule a call with me. If anyone's interested in the training that I do, I would absolutely love to speak to them.
Yep. You're based in the UK, and obviously you'll accommodate times from anyone that obviously it
Certainly,
works, because
that's
obviously
what we're
this
doing.
is evening for me at the moment and morning for you. So, you're happy to do that. People don't have to think, oh, UK, I can't talk to Anne, but it'll all
Not
be
at
in your
all.
calendar and it will adjust to the local time so they know what it is for them. So, and we'll just spell, so just to confirm, it's Anne with an E,
Yeah,
and then Corbin is Corbin, and then
correct.
info.com. So it's been a pleasure to have you on today. A little bit different to what I normally talk about on my wellness program, but certainly we did cover the burnout, and wellness relates to, people feeling better to get through that.
And
If
meditation,
you,
it's a very healthy.
well, yes, I'm gonna have another crack at finding a meditation that I can actually listen to and follow along, because my meditation for me is getting lost somewhere with my camera. I love my photography. If I go for a walk in the
Fabulous,
bush, I go
fabulous,
for a walk
fabulous.
in the
Yeah.
bush.
As I say, there are
And it's
many
funny,
different kinds.
you see things so differently through a camera. Like I'll be walking through and I'll stop, and my wife will be walking with me and she'll keep walking. And then she has to turn around and come back to make sure I haven't fallen off the track or down the hill, because you'll just see little things. And that calms my mind, because it might just be the lights just coming through the rainforest at that particular point and shining on something. And in a minute, the sun will move because it's going up higher. So that'll be different. So you got to get it now, or you think, oh, it's going to be there in a minute. So you wait. And that is just so calming. I can get lost for hours. My wife doesn't like to walk with me anymore if I'm taking my camera. It's kind of like, it's boring. It's like, no, I could stay here for ages. So, but I will try the meditation and see how we go. And if you're the chakra one, I'd love to hear it or see it. If you've got it somewhere, you can.
Yeah, I've given myself a note to look it up
Yeah.
and
All right.
post it
That's
on
fantastic.
YouTube.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Anne. All the best.
Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
All right, my pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Okay, thanks, guys. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in. You've been listening to The Wellness Debate. Truth, myths, choices, where we explore both sides of health to help you make informed decisions. If you found this episode helpful, hit subscribe so you'll always catch the latest conversations, and leave us a review to let us know how we're doing. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep searching for your own path to wellness.